Hello Aquarius, this is Victoria and I'm here with your November tarot forecast. As always, we'll be looking at your love life, your career and workspace, and we'll get you some guidance on how to best navigate the energy of the months of November. At the end, I'll put some messages from a person of interest to yourself. I have a cat over there, so I was just checking that he's okay. Yes, so let's get started. Let's jump into it. We will begin with a quick oracle message. So let's start with that. I hope you guys are doing great. We have Mercury retrograde coming up. We're basically in the shadow mode of that retrograde already. And since they last for 3 weeks, essentially the main period is gonna last till end of November. So that means including Thanksgiving for those catching up with their family and maybe friends that you don't normally see, right? Like just a little word of caution there. But then of course there will be another shadow period following that, and that's gonna take us pretty much till end of the calendar year. So, and I would just say for those people who just now started panicking, Mercury retrograde definitely, first of all, allow us to go within and figure out who we are and how we communicate about ourselves. What kind of message are we sending with how we talk about our story, with how we connect with people in relationships, love languages, all these things. And by any means, it doesn't mean don't have, difficult conversations during this time, or if in doubt, don't have those. I mean, I know that you may hear that. I would definitely agree with that guidance for things like buying something important or signing contracts. But I wouldn't say that, the more you're gonna be avoiding or just be intimidated to have an important conversation or a difficult conversation, you will be showing up with that resistance energy, and that's essentially what might actually push it towards the outcome that you're not looking for. But if you approach it with an open heart and with compassion, then by all means, just like I was saying, and this is a word of caution, just be a little more mindful about it, that like people may not hear what you're trying to say, right? You may need to be able to explain it in a different way. They may be sometimes it literally feels like you're talking in different language with a person. And it's like, well, like I'm still saying the words, right? Like you're hearing me, right? But they hear something completely different, and it's possible, right? But the more open and high vibe and at peace you are when you are going into the conversation, the more productive it's going to be. It's just very emphasized during this time. That's what I would say. Somebody needs to hear that. I don't know. So for you, Aquarius, we have Ghostlands. Yeah, that's an interesting card, actually. Let me see the book. I'm being guided to go with the book this time. You can learn from the past and imagine a beautiful future, but you must live in here and now, right? That's the real thing. That's the tangible reality, as opposed to the past or the future, which is where the ghostlands are. Whenever you set your sights too far ahead, you run the risk of losing your footing. For rarely do the present and future match up exactly on the enchanted map that is your life story. The future has no substance right now. It is a place that has no grounding as of yet. You can live there, yet you can't live there, yet you can take measured steps towards a goal or a dream of yours. These steps are important right now. The same goes for nostalgia. You can look into the past wistfully and remember beautiful moments or visit lessons learned. However, you can't live there, nor can you go back and change what was. Yesterday is gone forever. Live fully in the present. This now is the most powerful place to put your attention. Its magic reaches out in every direction, further than the heart and soul can see. Yes, I feel like we're still, partly because of the way our brain functions while trying to keep us safe, but we definitely still underestimate the power of the present moment. And that includes, by the way, your senses, that includes your gut feel, includes your vibration and the way that you perceive the signals from other people, places, situations, right? Okay, let's dive into tarot. This readings, by the way, are for Sun, Moon, and Rising Aquarius. So if you're watching this for a Sun sign, please check out videos for other placements. We are also approaching 1111 portal, which is definitely something any and every twin flame knows about. Other people a little bit less so, like it's a big deal for the twins, but it's definitely a big deal for other in terms of generally synchronicities, dreams coming true, plans coming together, those like messages from the angels, right? So I will be doing an 1111 reading pretty soon. So if you're new, please subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And of course, full moons, new moons, we just had full moon in Taurus. I have a separate reading for that with messages for each zodiac sign. New moon that we're gonna have towards Thanksgiving, I am gonna be there with a reading as well. So for your personal space and love life, you have 7 of Swords, 5 of Cups, oof, 8 of Cups. You see even the colors are very similar, just to show you for a second. And it's not even like these two are cups, this is swords. It's not even like, oh, this is probably how they paint the cups. No. We'll talk about it in a moment. For your career space, you have 7 of Cups, 4 of Swords, and Knight of Pentacles. And finally, for the advice, we have 3 of Cups, the Empress, the World. Bottom of the deck, 10 of Pentacles. You see, that's what the universe is trying to bring to you. The family happiness, the abundance that you're wishing for, maybe not wishing for, but there's something in your field that's going against this. Like you're going against the grind and making things more difficult for yourself, by yourself, right? And I mean, no judgment here. We'll do that at one point or another. I'm just saying that, especially if you feel like, you know, if you feel like you're having a hard time with something or you're being punished for something, life is unfair, whatever. Life is fair, and actually trying to bring something really beautiful into your space. But it could also be, for some of you, it could also be because the divine timing matters here. And again, we'll talk about it in a moment. So it may be on its way, and this is just me giving you a bit of heads up to be excited about something. And by the way, you had a couple of major arcanas here, so this is Taurus and Capricorn energy. You could be dealing with one of those. All right, so, but mostly minor arcana for you this time, Aquarius, which means that actually there's a lot of unfolding that you have a hand in, that you have power over, and this is the time to show what you've learned, what are your values, who you are, and how you want to be in your life, right? Who you want to be with, especially if we're talking about love life, right? I don't really see much here about your partner, I'll be honest with you, but there's a lot going on with you where you've been through some struggles, you've been through somebody letting you down, either lying to you or sometimes admitting the truth, which some people think is entirely different, but essentially is still the case where you didn't know the truth, right? Like someone was struggling either with you or just in their life and you didn't know, and then suddenly, you know, they finished things with you, or it turned out that they're not on the same page with what you were doing or the way you saw your future together, something like that. And you're like, whoa, I never even knew that that was a thing, right? And then suddenly a person is saying, that's it, I'm walking away. It's the 8 of Cups especially. It could be something that you'll see this month actually, but what I see here for you, that it's time for you to, especially with the Seven of Swords, look at this particular card in this deck. Something is coming to light of what are you really after? Do your actions correlate with your wishes and desires? Or in your wishes and desires there's one version, and then in reality there's something else. And mind that sometimes it's something else because you're reacting to what is happening around you. But that's really where you're supposed to take your power back, so that you're not like a leaf in the wind where you're reactive to what's happening. And let's face it, a lot of times it's not the best of our reactions, right? It's important to get the control back where you can be at peace. You can be emotionally detached, or at the very least, and it has to do a lot to do with regulating your nervous system. You can't just pretend like it's fine when it's not. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying getting to the point where your nervous system is so balanced out, and for a lot of us, whether we like it or not, it means complete reset, and it takes some time, it takes certain practices. It doesn't happen overnight, there's no magic pill for it. It doesn't even happen automatically once you've healed certain part of your shadow side or something from the past. It's a separate piece of work. But once you're there, it will be a lot easier for you to first of all, to be more mindful what's going on with you without wanting to repress it or just like throw it to the side, or the other way around could be a different extreme where it may look a little childish to other people, but when you're really like overly focused on a specific emotion that you have, like it's like everything right now, right? You'll be able to be more balanced where you're more in the middle, where you can notice certain emotions that you're feeling, but you don't become the slave to them. You don't necessarily just lash out at people, or you don't feel guilt and shame where you don't feel like you can actually share. You feel like you need to retreat because it's just not gonna look good. You know, you're not gonna look good in somebody else's eyes, right? There's so much there to unpack, but yeah, definitely look into the correlation of wishes and desires versus your actions, how you show up with people, and that will be your clue. That will be a good start. For your career space, you have Seven of Cups, Four of Swords, and Knight of Pentacles. Again, there's a lot of ambition, there's a lot available to you, there's a lot of gifts and skills that you have that you can apply in different ways, right? But be mindful, first of all, about self-care. And I know we're living in the world where it's like go and getting stuff, right? And the more I have, the faster I make it, the better, right? The cooler I am. But this is definitely the time to take care of yourself, of your health, whether it's physical or emotional, and take it easy and take it slow. Knight of Pentacles is showing you that, right? Like one step at a time, baby. Consistency wins. It's not about doing too many things at once, and it's not about trying to, do a year worth of project in like 1 month, right? It's about gradually taking step here, step there, with specifically prioritizing things that you want to be putting your time into. This is business space, so our workspace, so I can use the words project, but take it however it resonates for your context, depending on what you do for a living, right? But this is definitely the time to maybe pay more attention to work-life balance, and see how you can be very productive at work, but also have enough time and energy and space for things that you're interested in outside of work. Finally, the advice. Three of Cups, the Empress in the world. You are creating your world right now, quite literally, right? So it's very important, first of all, to know who is by your side when you're doing that. And mind that some people could be good at having fun, partying, going on adventure. That could be, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are good for other aspects of your life, right? And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, at least for yourself. And you don't need to tell them that, you know, there's something wrong with you, even if you realize that, you know, the fact that you like going on adventure with them doesn't mean that you want to do business with them. It doesn't mean that you want to spend holidays together, right? You don't have to go too deep into that, but it's important to acknowledge it for yourself. The more you're stepping into your truth and into your power, the more authentic and fruitful and fun and exciting your world would be that you're building, right? You need to set your own rules, right? Like, what are the values? What are the priorities? What are the boundaries? Otherwise, you'll always be drawn towards what is going on in your field, meaning like who else is stepping in and what those other people are doing, or what is happening. Could even be like what is happening in society. All those energies will be pulling on you, right? And you'll feel like you're always reacting to what's happening, that you're not making things happen. And that's one of the worst feelings to have, that you're on the sidelines of your own life, your own story. A lot of people have that feeling, unfortunately, with their extended family, where it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's like one thing after another that I'm dealing with. And I really don't want to, but I mean, they're family, right? So I kind of have to. Yeah, that's another red flag. If any of you is saying that to yourself, that's something to look into. Okay, before we go, let's get some messages for Aquarius from their person of interest. We've got Six of Cups in reverse, clarified by Strength, and the Magician. Very powerful cards. And if you haven't guessed yet, they're basically saying that don't hang on to some kind of old structures that maybe you've learned as a child, how a family should be, how a business should be, you know, lifestyle in general, talking to people. I've seen so many people in my life who kind of like, I don't want to say copy, but they take a lot from their family members, like the elderly members of the family, whoever they are, and they just replicate, even sometimes the intonation and the phrases that they use, but a lot of times the attitudes, the decision-making process, like so much that these people don't even realize. I know if I know, you know, that other person and them, and I'm like, wow. But not even to get in too much into the generational gap, but more importantly that we're all unique people, and, you know, we're supposed, like, of course we're impacted and we learn based on, you know, what's going on around us and what important adults in our life are telling us and teaching us when we're kids. But when we grow up, it is our responsibility to take a much more conscious look at our reality and how we want to live our life, right? And who we are and how we want to apply ourselves. What do we want to achieve? What makes us happy? All these things. And yes, a lot of times it means redefining all the old structures, or at least many of them. And it's scary and it could be exhausting, but it's so much worth it. So your person is basically saying that we're not kids anymore, especially if you guys used to know each other when you were younger, right? Like, we're not those people anymore. We are adults and we are supposed to decide for ourselves without feeling the pressure of anybody else in our lives, even if we treasure their opinion, their position, maybe the help that they need, but they shouldn't dictate the way we live our life, right? And you, being such a powerful person, need to have that courage to build it out for yourself the way you see fit. And that's where your person is, and that's what they want for you. And mind you, it doesn't even mean that they want you to map it towards what they want. They want to figure out what do you want, so that you guys can see how you can find that compromise and you can be partners on that level. Or maybe you want, that remains to be seen. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time,